Hello, Mike Brennan here with our monthly video from our Rochester Catholic Schools Director of Schools. You know, it seems hard to believe that we are already well into our second grading quarter in our schools. The liturgical calendar completed its cycle this past weekend in the life of our church. And next weekend, we usher in the season of Advent, where we prepare our hearts in wondrous anticipation as we await the gifts of our Lord on Christmas Day. Things are indeed flying by. But before we journey together down this path of hope and love, joy and peace, a little something called Thanksgiving finds its way into our lives. Thanksgiving, one of my favorites. It's a time to be surrounded by family and loved ones, a time to recall our blessings and the good fortune the Lord has bestowed upon us, and a time to enjoy a signature meal of turkey, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, stuffing, pumpkin pie, and yes, Mom's special green bean casserole, complete with crunchy French's fried onions on top, just the way the Pilgrims made it, I'm sure. Oh, and also leftovers. That's right, leftovers. Days and days worth of food that, although missed the first round, still find their way onto our plates, into our bellies, and somehow on the scales too. Now, admittedly, I am a huge leftover fan. I am especially fond of that classic Thanksgiving dinner on a bun, you know, the quintessential leftover sandwich with a little taste of that cornucopia of culinary goodness in every bite. You know what I'm talking about. A couple slices of turkey, maybe a little stuffing, topped with a bit of gravy, maybe a little cranberry sauce too. I'm sorry. Seriously, I love leftovers at Thanksgiving. But when it comes to life and our relationships with others, perhaps not so much. You know, that's because leftovers in general are, well, they're just that. They're left over. It's what we've got left, what we have remaining after we've used up all the good stuff. You know, seldom do we ever really save the best for last. In fact, I think we typically exercise the opposite, where we consume the best first and leave behind whatever might be second rate or not as valuable or less desirable or bottom shelf, you name it. You know, I've had this note right on my desk since last year, right around this time. It says, Thanksgiving 2016, no more leftovers. It's literally been sitting right here all this time so that I wouldn't forget what I wanted this season's Stakeholder video to be about. I remember the moment vividly. A coworker of mine was sharing the homily that our pastor had given about how we all too often give God what's left over. And I just knew that I needed to share that message with our RCS families. So this isn't an original idea by any means, and credit must go elsewhere, but I'd be remiss if I didn't repeat the same question to you. And that is, are we giving God our leftovers? Do we give him our very best, or are we giving him what remains? And if the answer is yes, or the latter, what does that say about us? What is it saying about how we feel about him? What is it saying about where our priorities lie? Why do we all too often give so little to the one who has given us so much? Everything, in fact. So, with that said, I am officially declaring this Thanksgiving and all the days to follow leftover free. That's right. No more praying when we find some extra time, or going to Mass only when it's convenient, or giving the leftover change in our pockets to those in need. Instead, let's make these actions priorities. Let's make them first. Let's make them number one. So in this year of no more leftovers, let's serve God our very best. Every day, all day, and everywhere. So, from all of us here at Rochester Catholic Schools, where we are growing together in mind, body, and spirit, God bless and happy Thanksgiving.